After the funeral for my father-in-law, my wife didn't have any ties left to bind her to duty. That was when she asked for a divorce. Arthur, you can't expect to tie me down with a lifetime of gratitude, can you? I've already wasted 37 years on you. My son stood right there with her, urging me on. Dad, just let Mom and Uncle Frank be happy. Mom has the right to choose who she spends the rest of her life with. I smiled, but the tears wouldn't stop coming. I had worked myself to the bone for this family my entire life. I never imagined it would end like this. It wasn't until the dust settled on the divorce, and I was left sitting in the ashes of my former life, that I realized something. The life I had before wasn't really living at all. 1. We had just finished the burial service for Evelyn's father when she dropped the bomb. Her eyes were red, but her voice was steely. Art, I know you're a good man, but we're getting old. It's time we live for ourselves. I looked up at her, my vision blurry, completely unable to process what she was saying. I had just helped bury the last elder in our family. I was still reeling from the fragility of life. Her demand for a divorce felt like a hallucination. Evelyn, what is this? Why now? What happened? Evelyn's eyes darted away. She stammered, Frank. Frank's wife just passed away. He's depressed. I want to be there for him for whatever time we have left. I froze, a bitter acid rising in my chest. 37 years. That's how long we'd been together. Our son, David, was 35, and yet there was still no room for me in her heart. But at my age, the thought of watching my family disintegrate was unbearable. I practically begged her, stripping away every ounce of my dignity. Evelyn, please, can't we just stay married? If you think Frank is lonely, rent him an apartment nearby. You can visit him whenever you want. I thought that after everything I'd done for her, after compromising for her one that got away, or whatever the kids call it these days, she might reconsider. Instead, her face darkened instantly. Arthur Miller, how can you be so selfish? Frank just lost his wife. How can you have the heart to make him leave the home he's lived in for decades? What about me? I asked, the unfairness of it choking me. What am I supposed to do? I'm 66 years old. I've got 1 foot in the grave. You really have the heart to leave me all alone. Evelyn's expression softened, just a fraction. Well, that's why we have David. I'll tell him to visit you more often. You won't be lonely. Frank has a son, too. His son won't just abandon him. Enough. Evelyn snapped, her face turning an ugly shade of gray. Arthur, you can't hold a one-time favor over my head forever. I've wasted 37 years on you. I deserve to live for myself. Excuse me. The breath caught in my chest, a sharp physical pain. Wasted 37 years. Back then, her father had fallen critically ill with no insurance and no savings. He was the only breadwinner. Evelyn and her mother had begged every relative they knew and barely scraped together $50. We were neighbors. I couldn't stand to see them suffer. I had done well for myself those few years, so I convinced my parents to lend them the money I had saved for building a house and getting married, my entire nest egg. After her dad recovered, he came over to thank us. My mother accidentally let it slip that the money was my future marriage fund. Her dad immediately started playing matchmaker. Evelyn was beautiful, the kind of girl everyone in town noticed. I certainly didn't object. I just ducked my head and mumbled, as long as Evelyn is okay with it. I don't want her to feel forced. Her dad laughed. A few days later, the engagement was set. I thought she was willing. It wasn't until after the wedding that I learned the truth. She had a boyfriend, Frank Sullivan. Her father had forced her to break up with him because Frank was dirt poor. Heartbroken, Frank went down south to find work and fell off the radar. Evelyn figured since she'd never see Frank again, it didn't matter who she married. So, she said yes to me. For 37 years, I felt like I owed her something for settling. I walked on eggshells. I earned the money. I raised the kid. I did the chores. I never let her lift a finger if I could help it. I never imagined that in her heart, I was just the villain holding a debt over her head, forcing her to waste her life. I looked down, fighting back tears. Fine. Go be with him. 2. Once the divorce was agreed upon, we had to split the assets. The last few years have been expensive. We helped David with the down payment on his house and the wedding. Then came the grandkids' private lessons and sports camps. And recently, Evelyn's father's long hospital stay had drained us dry. Our savings were gone. All we had left was the house we lived in. That night, David came over with his wife. Dad, David started, trying to sound reasonable. You've got your pension. You should leave the house to Mom. She's been unhappy all these years, sticking it out with you. Think of it as compensation. I looked up at him, my old eyes tired and cloudy. Is that really what you think? David rubbed his nose awkwardly, avoiding my gaze. Over the years, Evelyn had constantly brought up her tragic romance with Frank, sighing about her regrets. She had planted that seed not just in David, but even in my grandson. My grandson walked over and handed me an apple. Grandpa, don't fight Grandma for the house. If Grandma and Grandpa Frank live here, I can still come over and play. The apple felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I thought about it for a long time, then sighed. Evelyn, if I were 10 years younger, I'd give you the house without a second thought. But I'm pushing 70. I'm too old to start over. I don't want to work my whole life and end up homeless. I'm selling the house, I stated firmly. I'll give you half the equity. It's enough to buy a nice condo. Before I could finish, David exploded. Dad, why are you so selfish? If Mom moves into a tiny condo, how are we all going to fit when we visit? If we want to stay over, are we supposed to sleep on the floor? So what do you suggest? I asked, my temper flaring. I'm an old man. Should I go rent a room somewhere? David mumbled. It's not the worst idea. Or you could go to a retirement home. You have your pension to cover it. I let out a cold laugh. My wonderful son. At the end of the day, he was only thinking about himself. He wanted a free babysitter. If the house was big enough, he could dump the kids on his mom whenever he wanted to go out with his wife. But he seemed to have forgotten one crucial detail. The one who actually took care of his kids wasn't Evelyn. It was me. Evelyn had lived like a princess her whole life. She didn't have the patience to deal with a crying toddler. But we were past the point of arguing about childcare. Evelyn, you know exactly how I've treated you. Your father's illness wiped out our bank account, and I never complained once. Now I just want half the house value. Is that too much to ask? Her mouth twitched, but she clearly didn't want to give up the house. She looked at David for help. David got angry. Dad, act your age. Just be the bigger person. If you leave the house to Mom, it eventually comes to me anyway. It stays in the family. Why are you being so petty? If you keep this up, don't expect me to take care of you when you get senile. He stopped, realizing he'd gone too far. There was a flicker of guilt in his eyes. But his words were a wake-up call. I couldn't rely on him for my old age. I had to look out for myself. Either we sell the house and split it 50-50, or I'm not signing the divorce papers. Evelyn panicked. She was desperate to start her new life with Frank legally and publicly. She couldn't afford a delay. Forget it, just do it, she told David, playing the martyr. I'm too old to fight. Just do what your father says. I can handle a little unfairness. David glared at me, his resentment deepening. Dad, you really have a heart of stone. If I stop coming around, don't blame me. Watching my son storm out, I felt a desolate chill settle over me. I had given everything to this family, and this was my reward. After the divorce was finalized, I rented a modest apartment and listed the house. Evelyn couldn't even wait for the ink to dry before she moved into Frank's place. When the house sold, splitting the proceeds marked the final severing of our ties. We were officially strangers. Arthur, she said, looking at me with zero remorse. Being with you for over 30 years. I wasn't happy for a single day, but thank you for the time. I hope you have a good life. I didn't say a word. I clutched my divorce decree and walked away. With my half of the house money, a little over $300,000, I decided to keep renting. At my age, you never know if tomorrow or a stroke comes first. Rather than sinking my cash into a cold block of cement, I decided to use it to actually enjoy whatever time I had left. Honestly, my life had been a grind. In my 20s, I made good money, but it all went to save Evelyn's dad. After that, his health was fragile, so I supported Evelyn and her parents. Then came David. Buying the house, medical bills, college tuition, David's wedding, his down payment, the grandkids. Expenses hit me like waves in the ocean, never stopping. I never dared to relax. I thought I'd die working. But this was okay. I treat this freedom as my reward for years of hard labor. 2 weeks after the divorce, David called. Dad, you're getting old. You shouldn't keep that much cash around. Transfer it to me. I'll invest it and keep it safe for you. I laughed internally. Safe. If I gave it to him, I'd be eating cat food within a month. No need. I already spent it on a place. I lied. You what? David's voice cracked with rage. Dad, are you senile? Do you know what the market is doing right now? Why would you buy at the peak? One day you're going to rot in that house, and nobody will even know. He hung up before I could respond. I was angry, but he had a point. I could die in my sleep, and nobody would know. I had a solid nest egg and a pension of about $2,500 a month. Why hoard it? I called an agency and hired a housekeeper/companion. Her name was Sarah. She was 56, 10 years younger than me, and life hadn't been kind to her either. She was widowed young and raised her son by herself, scrubbing floors and working double shifts. But when her son married a girl from the city, they decided Sarah was too country and embarrassing. They wouldn't even send her a dime. Sarah had to look out for herself. Watching her bustle around my apartment, cleaning and cooking, I felt a kinship with her. We were both castaways. Old folks love to talk. I found myself telling Sarah the whole saga of Evelyn and me. She would listen, her eyes tearing up with genuine empathy. 6 months passed like that. We cooked, we chatted, we took evening walks. It was peaceful. Then Evelyn showed up. Art, can I borrow some money? Frank's son wants to upgrade to a bigger house. As his stepmom, I need to contribute something to show I'm part of the family. I stared at her. Didn't you get over 300 grand from the house sale? She looked down at her shoes. It wasn't enough. We're short about 100,000. For old time's sake, please. Consider a loan. Before I could speak, Sarah stepped in, her voice dripping with sarcasm. A loan? That sounds nice, but how exactly do you plan to pay it back? Mr. Miller supported your whole family for decades, and now you want him to support your ex-husband's kid too? Have you no shame? Evelyn finally noticed Sarah. Her eyes narrowed. Who are you? Sarah hesitated. What could she say? I'm the maid. I stepped in front of Sarah. This is my partner. And Evelyn, I can't lend you the money. I have my own responsibilities now. Evelyn gasped, tears springing to her eyes. Arthur, we've only been divorced 6 months, and you've already replaced me. I watched Evelyn storm off, bewildered. She had married Frank days after our divorce was final. Why was it shocking that I might move on? I turned to Sarah, feeling awkward. Sarah's face was flushed red. She looked like a shy schoolgirl. Art, if you don't mind, I'd be willing to make that true. Being a real family, I mean. She suddenly waved her hands frantically. But don't worry, I don't want your money. I want someone to grow old with. Someone kind. We can sign a prenup or whatever they call it. I looked at her, my throat tight. Sarah, you know I'm a decade older than you. I don't care. Art, I just want a home. You're a good man. You feel like family. I couldn't stop a tear from rolling down my cheek. Well, if you're sure, let's do it. No prenup. At my age, I can't take the money with me when I go. Sarah's jaw dropped. Aren't you scared I'll take the cash and run? I wiped my eyes and chuckled. If you do, I guess it's just my bad luck. Sarah grabbed a tissue and dabbed my face. Don't worry, Art. I won't let you down. You deserve a win. Sarah was true to her word. After we went to the courthouse, she treated me like gold. She cooked heart-healthy meals for my digestion. She dragged me out for power walks for my blood pressure. She showed me funny videos on TikTok to keep my spirits up. I finally understood what people meant when they said, life begins at retirement. When David found out, he was furious. He brought his wife, Megan, and my grandson to the apartment to stage an intervention. Dad, you have officially lost your mind. You're practically ancient and you're playing house. Aren't you afraid this woman is just scamming you? I am not. Sarah defended herself, voice trembling. I care about Art. Please, David scoffed. My dad is nearly 70. If you aren't after his money, what is it? You like the smell of Benghazi and old people. Shut your mouth, I snapped. Sarah keeps this place spotless and takes better care of me than you ever did. I won't let you disrespect her. Megan rolled her eyes. Dad, look, it's your life. But your money shouldn't go to a stranger. You have a grandson. We're here because we want you to write a will, David said bluntly. Everything goes to your grandson, just to be safe. You shut up, Sarah cried out, eyes red. Art is only 66. He's going to live a long time. Why are you talking about wills? Don't worry, she turned to them. When Art passes, I won't take a penny that isn't mine. I looked at my son and his wife with cold clarity. A will? Great idea. They smiled, thinking they won. When I die, I said clearly, everything goes to Sarah. You won't see a dime. David turned purple. He smashed a glass onto the floor. Fine. Do whatever you want. But when you're rotting in a hospital bed, don't call me. Come on, Megan, we're leaving. After they left, Sarah rubbed my back. Why do you agitate them? It only raises your blood pressure. I took her hand. Sarah, tomorrow we're buying a condo. Cash. Small place. Both names on the deed. If something happens to me, you need a roof over your head. Sarah burst into tears, sobbing so hard I didn't know what to do. Thank you, Art. I swear to God, I will take care of you until my last breath. Stop that. I laughed, patting her hand. David and Evelyn called her a scammer. But weren't they the scammers? They used family and love to con me out of my life for decades. I bought a nice one-bedroom condo for about 200 grand. It was small, just 50 square feet or so less than my old living room, but it was ours. On moving day, Sarah was giddy. She touched the walls, the counters. Art, pinch me. I've cleaned mansions and penthouses my whole life, but none of them were as beautiful as this little box. This is our home. Let's live to be 100, she said, beaming. Deal, I said. We joined a senior travel club. Sarah was like a kid in a candy store everywhere we went. The Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Niagara Falls. On the flight back from one trip, she sighed. What was I doing all those years? Just working, raising a kid, and for what? To be treated like dirt. I squeezed her hand. I knew the feeling. My life used to be asking Evelyn what she wanted for dinner or paying Evelyn's bills. Now, Evelyn's dream life was a nightmare. After marrying Frank, Evelyn moved into his house and became the unpaid maid. She had never done housework in her life. Now, she was learning from scratch, desperate to please Frank. But no matter what she did, Frank's family didn't appreciate it. If she complained, Frank took his kid's side. Evelyn, you're the adult. Why argue with the children? Evelyn, just let it go for my sake, okay? Evelyn, how can you burn a simple pot roast? What have you been doing for 60 years? Her resentment built up until it exploded over a bowl of cherries. Frank's son was at work, and his wife was at the hospital with her sick father, so Evelyn was babysitting the grandson. She bought expensive cherries, $8 a pound. The kid ate 5 of them. Frank's daughter-in-law came home and saw the pits. She flipped out. You let him eat those? Those are imported. Do you think money grows on trees? Evelyn snapped. She threw her dish rag on the floor. Who are you calling cheap? I gave you $135,000 for your new house. That was my life savings. The daughter-in-law sneered. Nobody forced you. You were just desperate to suck up to my father-in-law. You couldn't wait to replace his dead wife. Don't act like you're some saint. Evelyn froze. She realized that to them, she wasn't a benefactor. She was a joke. That night, she refused to cook. Frank tried to smooth it over. Evelyn, come on. We're old. Why fight with the younger generation? Let's just keep the peace. But Evelyn was done with peace. She demanded an apology or the son and his wife had to move out. Frank showed his true colors. Evelyn, that is my son. You and I, we're just partners keeping each other company. Don't confuse things. Partners, Evelyn screamed. I was better off with Arthur. He never let me suffer. I divorced him for you. I didn't ask you to do that, Frank shrugged. You volunteered. Evelyn packed a bag and left. She ran straight to David. David, ever the mama's boy, marched over to Frank's to demand the money back. He wanted the $135,000 plus $30,000 for emotional distress. Frank laughed. Divorce me if you want. I don't have a cent. I transferred all my assets to my son before we got married. David sued. Frank's family eventually agreed to write an IOU for the original sum, paid in installments. That was it. Evelyn realized she had made a terrible mistake. Naturally, she thought of me. 7. Arthur, I made a mistake. Let's get back together. When I saw Evelyn again, she looked 10 years older than me. Her hair was gray and messy. Her posture slumped. The spark in her eyes was dead. Love is like water for a plant. I had watered her for 30 years. Frank had let her wither. Arthur, if you take me back, I'll take care of you this time. I swear, I won't be selfish anymore. I pulled my hand away from hers. Evelyn, love is a finite resource. I used all mine up. I am tired. She wept, her face buried in her hands. It was pathetic. A part of me wanted to comfort her out of habit. But I had Sarah. Evelyn, go home. David is a good son to you. You'll be fine. I left her there and hurried home. I needed to reassure Sarah. 8. We planned a trip to Alaska for the summer. The day before we left, David, Megan, and Evelyn showed up at my door. It was an ambush. Dad, David pleaded. Mom knows she was wrong. Just forgive her. Megan and I work all the time. We can't take care of Mom properly. You guys belong together. Megan chimed in. Dad, we realized how much you did for this family. We're sorry, but Mom is going to be all alone. Sarah walked up and took my hand. Art, they're right. They need you. She needs you. I looked at Sarah. What about you? Don't you need me? Sarah smiled through tears. I'm used to being alone. You gave me 2 good years. Go be with your family. I gripped her hand tighter. Don't talk like that. You didn't mind my age or my bad knees. I'm not leaving you. I turned to my ex-family. Get out. Sarah is my wife. That isn't changing. Evelyn wailed. David lost it. He lunged at Sarah. You home-wrecking gold digger. You ruined my family. Slap. I hit him. Hard. You touch her, and I'll kill you. She isn't a homewrecker. She came into my life after your mother left me. Evelyn looked up, mascara running down her face. Arthur, you hit our son for her. I used to protect you like that. Evelyn, I said quietly. Now it's her turn. 9. After we got back from Alaska, David called. Dad, please. Mom isn't eating. She just holds your picture and cries. She's going to die. He sent a photo. Evelyn looked skeletal. I hesitated. She was the mother of my child. I'll meet her, I said, but Sarah is coming with me. We met at a diner. Evelyn wore a blue floral dress, the one she wore on our honeymoon. She lit up when she saw me, but her face fell when she saw Sarah. Arthur, she said, voice trembling, you brought her just to hurt me? Remember this dress? Remember how happy you were to marry me. Why can't you just forgive me one last time? I let her vent. When she was done, I spoke. Evelyn, we aren't young anymore. We can't undo the past. I don't hate you. Look at me. I was devastated when you left, and now I'm happy. You can be happy too. I'm sorry I never made you happy in 37 years. Evelyn broke down. No, don't say that. I was the one who didn't know a good thing when I had it. I thought the grass was greener. I was so stupid. She wiped her face and took off a silver bangle from her wrist. It was my mother's heirloom. She handed it to Sarah. Take this. It belongs to Arthur's wife. He's a good man. Be good to him. Sarah tried to refuse, but Evelyn forced it into her hand and walked out without looking back. 10. Evelyn never bothered us again. David actually started coming around. Life had humbled him. Dealing with his own job, kids, and aging mother made him realize how heavy the load I carried had been. Sometimes he'd bring a 6-pack and we'd sit on the porch. One night, drunk, he knelt by my chair. Dad, I'm sorry for the things I said. I don't know how you did it for 30 years. I took care of Megan's dad for 3 months, and I almost cracked. I patted his shoulder. It's just what you do, son. I didn't hold a grudge. I spent the rest of my years traveling with Sarah. When I was 75, Evelyn passed away. On her deathbed, she held my hand. Art, next life. I'll do it right. I won't be so stupid. Okay, I whispered. See you in the next life. 5 years later, my time came. I left the condo and half my remaining pension savings to Sarah. Sarah's son eventually came looking for her, wanting money. She refused to go with him. I spent my life drifting, she told him. The only time I had a home was with Art. I'm staying here. As I lay dying, David held my hand, weeping like a child. Don't cry, I told him. Take care of Sarah for me. I looked at Sarah, my vision fading. Sorry, honey. I'm leaving you with the hard part, missing me. My eyes closed. I saw my life play out like a movie. It was a good run. I didn't regret a thing.